Let's just go ahead and get this out of the way at the beginning. Give this video a big thumbs up. In this video, I wanted to talk about one of the main props that I made for my short film, Junk Drawer. Also, spoilers ahead. Pause this video, go watch the short film, then come back and finish this video, okay? You've been warned. Let's dive into the centerpiece of this entire situation, the junk thumb and the junk hand. Before fully committing to making Junk Drawer, I had to figure out if building such a thing was even possible at my skill level. Here's sort of a proof of concept thumb that I made in what we'll call pre-production. Being able to complete this, no matter how rudimentary it was, gave me confidence enough to move forward with the entire project. Now, it was very important to me that every piece of junk and thing that was attached to the thumb and the hand could be something that might be found in someone's junk drawer. The first stages of making this prop involved building sort of a frame out of duct tape, and then everything could be attached to that. I started by making the individual fingers, the rest of the wrist followed. I did prioritize finishing the thumb first because I needed that earlier. Assembling all of this required just the perfect amount of junk, not too much, not too little. I wanted to retain as much pliability as possible so I could move around as I needed. That was a challenge. I didn't end up with much mobility, but in the end I think it worked out okay. Like I said, I was prioritizing getting the thumb done first, so once I had that in a good spot, it was time to bloody it up. Without question, this was the best brand of blood that I used. There were a couple of others that I tried, but this one, heads and shoulders above the rest. It still looked gooey after it dried, which was perfect. Once the thumb was all bloody, now it was time to attempt the most challenging part of this entire short film making process. For the movie, I wanted it to look like the junk was bursting through the skin of our main character, which means I had to learn how to work with nose and scar wax and makeup. There was a steep learning curve, so one day I just picked out a Netflix show to binge and practice molding and shaping the nose and scar wax around the area that I was gonna have it in the movie, and that really did pay dividends. I started having the most luck with the nose and scar wax once I incorporated a bit of skin oil into the process. My sister Haley is no stranger to making bloody, gory makeup effects in my short films, but since I was on my own, I just asked her advice, and after talking to her for a bit, I was left with something I was pretty happy with. Then came the night it was time to shoot the thumb stuff. I've got to say that the nose and scar wax deteriorated quicker than I thought it would. But I was able to get what I needed shooting around some of the areas that didn't look so great. Finishing the rest of the hand was definitely a marathon, not a sprint. I actually was running out of junk to put on the thing. I actually had to ask my mom if she had any junk she would be willing to donate to the project, and she was happy to oblige. Really love all the little details on this thing. I've kept it as a memento now that production is over. So the wrist section is completely separate from the fingers. They completely detach, and the wrist section connects back here. I tried to hide this seam as best I could, but there's actually some magnets underneath this section of duct tape and junk. I don't want to take it off right now because I'm afraid all this is going to fall apart. But yeah, magnets hold it all together back here, and yeah, pretty cool stuff. I'm really happy with how this turned out. One last thing I wanted to cover in this video is the final shot of the movie. It was an exercise in compositing multiple shots and elements together. My hope was that I could get the drawer to close somewhat practically by pushing it with this green paint stick that I would later key out. Perhaps someone with more time, skill, and patience could have achieved this, but I did get my money's worth out of that paint stick. The plan was to always use a shot of the junk hand on a green screen, pulling it closed. So with that shot, plus static images from the kitchen, I was able to bring all of those into After Effects, stack them up, and animate them. Putting it all together was just a matter of timing and playing with keyframes until I ended up with this. Overall, I would say this came together really well, especially since I've never done anything like this before and that I was all by myself. Hey, be sure to hit up those comments, likes, and shares. That's going to do it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.